You've been interviewing her in your head for a year. Exactly what she does, what the job is. You've been thinking about the offer letter and the conversation that you're going to have with her at 11 o'clock at night over and over and over again. You can't keep thinking about it before you fall asleep. And you still haven't called her to come in and have the interview. So I ask women CEOs this all the time. What is the one role that if time and money were no object, you would fill in your business tomorrow? And nobody has to think about it. Within 4 seconds or less, there is the answer. So it was never about that, what the role is. It's why you haven't. So let me ask you right now, the same thing that I asked them. What is the one role you need to fill right now? Say it out loud. You didn't have to think about it very long, did you? 4 seconds, just like I told you. You're not confused about that. You've never been confused about it. You're not indecisive about this hire. You're just concerned about the math. Not undecisive about this hire. You're unclear about how the math. If you've been around me for any length of time, love math. So let's just do it. Out loud, let's go ahead and do the math because I want you to watch what happens instead of just taking my word for it. Take what you earned last year, divide it by the total hours that you work and the real hours, even the hours that you were working on Sunday. That is your number. I want you to write it down. Now, pick the one thing that you still do yourself every week. It probably takes about 2 to 3 hours and you should not be the one doing it. Let's say that the thing that you just chose, that is something that someone else will do far better, far more efficiently than you. Let's say it takes you about 2 to 3 hours a week. Let's just use the number 3 for fun. 3 hours a week is 144 hours a year. Multiply 144 hours and your hourly rate that we already calculated together. Go ahead, do it right now. And for most of the women that I do this with, it is far more than they would pay someone full time to do the one thing that they're doing for 3 hours a week. Not the same, not less than, more than. This is not a delegation problem. And it's not a discipline problem either. It's an information problem where you just haven't sat down to do a deep dive into it at this level. And those, my friend, are fixable. You've just been making this decision every week without the one number that would help you do it well. And now you have it. I did this with a woman this past week. We did the division together and she said $40. And I said, no, ma'am. You have been doing this for too long. You're too experienced and your professionalism is worth far more than $40 an hour. She just sat there because she had been choosing to do work worth $40 an hour when she's actually worth $450 an hour for 3 years. Do the math on that. $40 an hour times 144 hours. Or if she wasn't investing those 3 hours a week focused on something that isn't her strength zone, $450 an hour times 144 hours. Look at the difference for the return on the investment of time. Okay, so just in case you're still with me, you're not going to like me for this one. Every single hour this week that you do something that is worth less than what your actual expertise is worth, you're paying for that out of your own pocket. Not the company's, not anyone else's, your pocket. Being good at something is not a reason to keep it. People believing that you're great at something is not a reason for you to personally keep it. And this is where most women get stuck, right? It's not laziness and it's not fear either. It's competence. You're genuinely good at the thing. You built part of this business by being good at that thing. So handing it away feels like giving up something that you worked so hard to earn. So here are 3 questions. Run them on anything sitting on your plate right now, and it will give you clarity. Number 1, is this my talent? Number 2, what is this worth per hour? If I paid someone that was excellent at it, the very best there is, what is it worth an hour? Number 3, what does this do to my energy? That is a big one. And I'm just going to tell you right now, most of what you're doing every day yourself is going to fail all 3 of these tests. You've just never had a reason to look because nobody has challenged you on it. Being good at it and it being good for you are 2 totally different things. And you, my dear, have been using competence as a permission slip. You are allowed to hand away something that you're really excellent at. That's not quitting. That's the job of being a CEO of your business. Okay, I'm going to tell you something I did real quick. I built a content system so that when I'm recording these videos and sharing with you what's going to help you in your business, which many of you are doing right now, so that you can make sure that your customers and your clients can find you and continue to be connected with you. I built an entire system. I spent 4.5 hours the first week focusing on building it out. And then I did that again another week and another week. And it was because I care so much about every detail being perfect to take care of the people that I'm out there serving. And here's what I didn't see. Everything I already needed existed. I just didn't have anybody to hand it to. So I kept handing it back to myself every single week for a handful of weeks. The building it was never the problem. You are the visionary of your business. You're the CEO and get to decide the vision, the direction, how you're showing up for people. What was the problem is me keeping it. The day I finally let it go, nothing broke. I did figure out if someone was the right person to handle it, but nothing broke. You are not protecting people from work that they don't love. You're actually keeping yourself stuck, and you're keeping them from the one thing that would actually grow and develop them more. I hear a version of this constantly. She already has enough on her plate. I don't know if she's going to keep working for me if I give her one more thing. I don't want to overwhelm her. She's still learning the other thing I have her working on. And every single time I hear this, the woman saying it means it from the best place. That's the part I need you to hear, because I'm not accusing you of anything. This isn't a flaw. It's actually care pointed in the wrong direction. The work that you're holding on to right now, when you already have a team, whether it's one person or multiple people, that is the work that would develop her. That's the thing that makes her more confident. It's what makes her more valuable to your team. It makes her more useful to you and more employable if for some reason you guys decide not to do business together in the future, so that it actually impacts her in a positive way in her entire trajectory of her career. And the people that have grown the most under me in all my seasons of building businesses are not the ones I protected from having work or from giving them something else. They're the ones I handed something before either of us were ready for it to be handed off, and then stayed close to stay on top of it in case something went sideways. That's what leading talent actually looks like. Not shielding, handing it over on purpose with support behind it. Can I challenge you with something? Every time you decide not to give her a hard thing because you don't think she can handle it, you are putting a ceiling on her that she didn't get a vote on. You're not sparing her. You're capping her development. And true multiplier leaders, like I know you are, don't put a cap on people. Remember, effort adds and capacity compounds. And here's the difference, because this matters more than any productivity system, any operating system that you'll ever try. If you handle that task yourself this week, you get 1 week handled. 3 hours in, 3 hours of work, and it's over the second you close your laptop and right back to you on Monday morning. When you hand it to somebody, you never do it again. Not this week, not this year, not anytime in the foreseeable future, so the business can actually grow. 12 hours a month, 144 hours a year back, and 144 hours every year after this one. And you're not having to work harder to get that time back. That's not from effort. That's making wise CEO decisions. That's a decision that pays you for as long as you own this business. And I want to be really clear about where those hours go, because the reflex, especially for you who has done everything to build this business so far, is to pour them back into production. And that is the reflex I push back on the hardest. They come back on a Tuesday morning in the school drop-off line to a season of somebody's childhood that's happening right now, whether you want to admit it or not. You've heard me say several times, you can't save your way to profit. Well, not hiring her is saving. You're saving money. And every time you've thought about hiring her and not done it, it's felt responsible every single time. And it's been costing you the whole time. The reason you haven't hired her is a number. It's not a feeling. We talked about this last week, and it applies here more than anywhere. You can't make a confident hire out of an account that only has 3 weeks in it. Nobody can. You'll hedge, you'll underpay, you'll hire a quality of talent that isn't at all close to what you need. You'll hire part-time when you need it full-time. And then what's going to happen is you're going to spend the first 90 days wondering if you can even keep it. And she is going to feel that. And it's going to make her worse at her job. That's not a courage problem. That's a reserves problem. Every woman I know that says yes to a hire confidently is really clear on the reserves that are underneath the foundation of her business. And every woman I know that's been circling the same hire since spring isn't. And every woman that's been circling the same hire since spring, she is running her business out of an account that she doesn't even want to open and look at. So before you make the offer, know 3 things. What does it cost to run your business in a month? What does 6 to 9 months of business expenses look like? Completely liquid. And what does this role cost you in all? Not just the salary, everything. Training, salary, the bonuses you would want to give when they are totally nailing it and growing your business rapidly because you have time back. All the taxes, all the tools, the whole picture. Write it down. And if you're not there yet, it's not a no, it's a date that you're choosing. You're not deciding if you're going to hire her. You're deciding when. And now, exactly what has to be true first, and you're clear on what to work. So here's the great news. You are not a coward. You never were. The other news is you might be underfunded. And those 2 things have never once been the same problem, which is exactly why every pep talk that you've given yourself since March has not worked. And this is where it connects to the thing that I actually care about most. The hire isn't about the business getting bigger. You already know how to make the business bigger. That's what you've been doing since you started it. You've proven that over and over and over. And honestly, it's the least interesting thing about you. The hire is about who you get to be for the people inside your home, outside your home, your friends, your community, when you get that time back. When you're the woman doing invoices at 9 o'clock at night, or the woman at the kitchen table for dinner. Whether Tuesday afternoon is available, or whether Tuesday morning drop-off is available, or already spoken for. Capacity is what makes presence possible instead of making it feel expensive. You were never called to have every answer or do every single job inside your. You were called to be still and know and make decisions, to be confident in your decision, not chaotic, to build something that holds when you're not a part of every single piece of it. Build something that holds when you're not touching every single part of it. And you might already be closer than you think. You probably already know the person you're going to hire. Most people are already far closer and they don't even know. Here's the one thing I want you to go do this week. Write down 4 things, not a plan, 4 things. The role that you're going to be hiring for. You already know what it is. Name it out loud the same way you named it in 4 seconds when I asked you earlier in the video. The hours, what specifically comes off your plate in the first month? Be very specific. Don't just call it an assistant or call it an admin. Then what she costs you all in and what you need sitting in reserves without you flinching. And the date. This is my favorite part. The actual day that you're giving yourself to make the decision by. Written on your actual calendar. Not a task, an event. And the date. The day you're giving yourself to make the decision by. Write it on your actual calendar. Not a task. An event. Block it off. Not someday. Remember, someday is not a day of the week because a decision without a date is a feeling. And you have been carrying this feeling around. If you want to make this decision in a room instead of in your car, consider joining us September 24th for the Legacy Blueprint Live. Legacy Blueprint is 1 day at Drift in Belmont on Lake Wylie. It's such a beautiful venue. You'll build your full 2027 plan in the same room with other high-level CEO women that also are moms in real estate. You calculate your reserve target with real numbers, and you leave the room with 1 hiring or delegation decision already made in advance of the year. Not a notebook of ideas, a decision made already. Janet Brink is going to be our keynote speaker, and you definitely don't want to miss out on. She has built one of the most respected teams in DC, and she has coached and led many other agents over the years to do the same. She's also done it while raising her kids. So nobody in that room is going to try to explain your life back to you of exactly what it takes to be you at this part of the journey. Tickets close September 4th because I have to give a venue count. The link is in the description. You already know who you need. Go make it a date. One thing to get into action around this week, because we have an action every week. The role, the hours, the number, and the date. If something today hit home, go ahead and subscribe now. Not for more videos. Do it so this hour stays protected for you every single Thursday. And if Thursday is not your day, go put it on your calendar for the day that is. Here's what I know about promises. Confidence never comes from what you've already achieved. It comes from making a promise to yourself and keeping it. So make me a small promise right now. I want you to have presence and profit at the same time. Focus on having both this week. Today is Sunday. Promise me you'll go live your legacy.